Hi, I'm here to share a video uh, showing the workflow for converting 24p MKV files to 25p. Why might anyone be interested in doing that? Well, there are a number of BBC titles that have only been released in 24p when they were shot in 25p. And of course, there's been a lot of discussion, particularly about Matt Smith's first series on the Doctor Who forums about the UK Blu-ray. It's got no next time trailers. It has pretty mediocre DTS HRA audio. Whereas the later US release, I've used the one from the Steelbook edition, has the next time trailers. It has DTS HD audio, but it's 24p. And so the fact that it's at the wrong speed, I can well understand why for some people that's a bit of a deal breaker because it doesn't have that fidelity to the original frame rate. However, it turns out that with a little bit of know-how and the right tools, it's actually quite easy to convert 24p to 25p. I'm assuming at this stage, by the way, that anyone watching this knows their way around ripping Blu-rays to MKV files and has a mechanism for playing them back in their main AV system. I use Kodi boxes. Um, the Apple TV with Infuse is an option to consider that would work for the 2005 Doctor Who onwards. But is a non-starter for classic Doctor Who because it has rubbish deinterlacing support, which of course is something that's absolutely required for classic Doctor Who. Okay, so what I've got here, you can see on the screen, I've got two MKV files, one ripped from the original UK release. Let's have a look at the media info for that. Okay, that's coming up here. So it's got the 25 frame per second underlying frame rate, which is of course what we'd expect. And it's got this DTS HRA audio, which is unfortunately, of course, lossy. And it's got 16-bit audio, as we can see here. We contrast that with the Steelbook edition. Let's have a look at its media info. This is running, of course, at 23976, and the audio now is DTS HD Master Audio and 24 bits, which is kind of cool. Right, so how do we convert our 24p into 25p? So the first thing we're going to do is to open up MKV Toolnix, a really indispensable piece of software for anyone who's interested in manipulating MKV files. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag the 24p version into here. And what MKV Toolnix does is it shows you all the different tracks that are in the MKV container. So here what we're going to do now is we're going to split out the video and the audio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first of all deselect the audio and just leave us with the video. And then over here, changing the frame rate is as simple as just clicking on this drop down, and what we're doing is we're changing the container frame rate stamp there to 25p, and then I also, just to be on the safe side, check this box which changes the frame rate stamps down at the bitstream level. And then I'm just going to give this a shorter file name, so it's going to be a temporary file. We'll call that temp 25p. And then you click on Start Muxing. We'll get this warning that there's no audio track. That's fine, that's intentional. And then you get this progress indicator in the bottom right. Okay, so let's come up for completion now. That's great. I just cleared that out just to reset things. And now we're going to do the whole thing again, dragging in the master 24p file. But now we're going to dump out the audio on its own. And now we get an MKA file because MKV Toolnix recognizes that there's no video. So we'll just, again, click on the to start multiplexing, and that will just take a few moments to create the audio only MKA file. Okay, so that's the first main stage done. So we'll close MKV Tornix for now. We'll be coming back to it later. So we now have in our extra files, we've got the uncorrected audio and the corrected video. So to fix the audio, I'm going to open Audacity, and if you're using Audacity for the first time, just make sure when you go through the installation process that you make sure that it can see FFmpeg. There are instructions for that on the Audacity website. It's very easy to do, but Audacity requires that in order to be able to import audio with proprietary codecs. So we're going to import some audio. We're going to select the MKA file that we just created, and it will just work through the file now, and then it will become available to us for conversion. Okay, so we're nearing the end of the import stage now. There we go. So now we've got all of the audio imported. And what we need to do now is to click on Select All, because we are converting all of the tracks. And we're now going to change the speed. So we click on the Effect menu. Now, in the case of the Matt Smith Blu-ray, we want to use Change Tempo. I've done many conversions in the other direction, particularly for PAL DVDs that have got the notorious speed up issue on the audio, where everyone sounds as if they've been breathing helium. So when you're doing it in the other direction, I would use to change your speed and pitch. I found for the Matt Smith Blu-ray, it's my impression that the pitch correction's already been done. So if you apply the speed and pitch filter in Audacity, you'll end up creating a file where, again, everyone sounds like they've been breathing helium. So what we want is the change tempo effect here. If you do the maths on the conversion between 23.976 to 25, that's a 4.271% speed up. And so that's what I've got preloaded from previous conversions. And now I just click on Apply, and Audacity will now do its thing and change the tempo. Okay, we're now coming up towards the end of the conversion there to reduce the runtime. There we go. And now we need to export all of this, and I use multi-channel FLAC because, of course, it's a lossless compression for the PCM audio that we've got here. So File, Export Audio. I've already, from running this many times, selected FLAC as the output format. And here you need to make sure that you've got custom mapping selected. Of course, we don't want mono or stereo. And if you're just interested about what that custom mapping is, if you click on Configure, you can see how it's got the default alignment there of all of the channels. And so if you don't have this custom mapping option, then it may be that there's a setting in Audacity that will allow you to enable that. That was something that I had to go through when I first installed Audacity a few years ago, but it may be that the default configuration now makes this automatically available. But if it isn't there, it'll be something that can be fixed in settings. So, okay, so we clicked on the custom mapping, we've got FLAC, and so now we click on Export, and it will now work its way through and generate a 5.1 FLAC file. So now we're almost done with exporting the audio to FLAC. There we go, it's done, it's finished. So we can close Audacity now. So now we've got our FLAC file and we've got our 25p video file. So now what we need to do is to put them together in one MKV file. So back to MKV Tornix. Let's drag in our 25p video and drag in our FLAC file. when you're combining separate files, MKV tool links will give you various options for how you want to use them. In this case, you will want to stick with the first option of adding the new source to the current settings. We click on OK. So now we've got our 25p video, we've got our new audio, and let me just put in a more useful file name. And start multiplexing. And so what it's going to do now is to create another new MKV file, but this time with the corrected video and with the corrected audio. So there we go. It's done. And we now have our Vincent 25p. Let's have a look at the media info for that to see what we've got. So we've got a 25 frame per second video. We've got our 5.1 24-bit FLAC. So there we are. Once you have done this a few times, actually the workflow doesn't really take very long at all. And in my experience, it is so well worth doing, particularly the Matt Smith Series 5. The audio is absolutely transformed compared to the UK DTS HRA. And of course, everything's running at the correct speed. And we have the next time trailers as well. And also, as I mentioned, thinking about other titles that are out there, for example, the BBC Pride and Prejudice, that's something that I've fixed. Other titles as well that you that may well come to mind. I'm sure it's very well worth having the ability to be able to correct this if you're an AV enthusiast. So, and particular for Doctor Who fans who are very frustrated about the Series 5 in particular, then this gives you a workaround if you get access to the 24p version. So there we are. I hope that was helpful, and I'll be looking out for commentary in due course in case there's any feedback.